All right, welcome back to episode 2 of the IBL podcast. I am your host, PonyRL, and I am joined today by Grudge. How are you doing today, Grudge?
I'm doing great. It's currently 12 a.m., so feeling good.
That's wonderful. And we're also joined today by skyoreos. Hello, skyoreos.
Hello, hello.
I guess we can get right into it. First, we are going to look at the draft. Draft happened a while ago. It feels like ages ago, but haven't talked about it yet. So, Grudge, who did you have as like your top draft performers?
I have two. I think the first one has to be Close Combat because I think just the amount of picks they got. I think also the quality of their picks as well. They got a lot of picks and they got a lot of good mechanical players for their team. I think that's very good because they also got them for very cheap as well. Also, another one I want to talk about is Rat Tactics. They only had two, but they made very good use of theirs, picking up Hyla and Laki. I think who are both going to be very good in B League. I think Laki has previous UHC experience, if I'm not mistaken, and I know Hyla just is very good at the game.
Yeah, can't argue with your picks at all. I think no bias that they are perfect picks, and I agree with them 100%. So, skyoreos, who did you have for your top draft performers?
I think the obvious one is Arcane, because they just had like a crazy pick order even before like going into the draft. They just had early picks and they used them well. They picked up Kel, Boyle, Vase, Cat, and Doctor Legend. So I think those will be some solid A-leaguers in Boyle and Doctor Legend, and I can see Kel being just like a crazy B-leaguer. So.
Well, yeah, I think the draft overall this season was, I'd say, probably one of the strongest drafts IBL's seen in a long time. So I'm very excited for this season.
I
Well, I guess without further ado, we can kind of just start talking about the B League. That's last week. If you want to hear about the A League, go back to last week's episode. Talked a lot about the A League there, but this week we'll be covering the B League, and we'll get straight into the playoff picture. So for the Alpine division, we have Impulse. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about Impulse.
I do think it's a bit of a downgrade from their roster last season, but nothing too insane. They're still a crazy team. They've kind of got like a core like fragging roster. They have Raining there for support, who I'm guessing is going to be taking heals, but I could be wrong. Interested to see Ender Pro off of heals if that is the case, and just see what they can put up. Morph obviously was one of like the best B-leaguers last season and has been up there since season 3, so I imagine they'll keep that form going.
So one player I want to bring attention to is Tipo, who played only one game in season 3 and then ended up retiring. But in that game, he dropped 17, so we never fully got to see what he's capable of. I think his mechanics are really good, and if he can put a performance like he did in season 3 this season, I think they're a strong contender for playoffs.
All right. Well, then I guess we can talk about Sugar Rush next.
Looking at Sugar Rush's roster, I see a lot of good like fraggers and also good supports. I know Saru really good B Leaguer last season. I know Souls, he played A League last season for the Arcane, and he did well for himself. And it now gets to play B League and really show what he's capable of. Avalon Bark as well, a prospect that a lot of people looked at, and I'm really interested to see how they play. So yeah, I think they have a really good fragging core.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is Valief has been a very good healer in the B League for a while now. And I'm also really interested to see what Hex can do with a better like supporting class than he had last season. Because he obviously did very well on a team that had quite a bad win-loss rate being Sevens. And yeah, he was a good fragger. It'll be interesting to see how he will perform.
I think their playoff position really just is very decisive on I think how well they can like work together. I think individually they have good fraggers, they have good support players, and if the team can come together really well, I can see them being a top contender for playoffs.
Yeah, I think the only thing I worry about this team is how they'll adapt to maybe some of the stronger PvP like B League teams. There's some B League teams that are completely stacked with like talent. So I think this Sugar Rush roster has slightly less than some of the top teams, but I definitely think that they have a good shot of making playoffs.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see what strats Saru will pull.
All right, then next we have in the Alpine division Mousetrap.
I think Mousetrap, they have Infinity and Blocks core from last season, and picking up Hyla could be really crazy because I know Hyla is an insane sword player. I believe they have good range as well, so they're definitely a very strong mechanics player. And I think I've seen them playing a decent bit of Battle Box, so I can see them working on their like game sense and stuff like that. Big TV has obviously been a B leaguer for a while. He's got experience. He's pretty smart. He's good at playing his role. Like when you give him a crossbow, he's very good with it. I believe Pine Block will be on healers. He's a good healer, I think, from last season. And then we also have Key Sweaty, who is a very good. I'm surprised they went undrafted, to be honest. A very good post-draft pickup. So I can see them becoming a good fragger as well. So this team has some solid fragging potential.
Yeah, I agree with everything what you said. Look, you took the words out of my mouth. I think every single player on this team has the potential to drop like 10 kills, in the game, and 10 kills plus actually. But I think again, similar to Sugar Rush, I think it's just a question of how well will the team work together. I know a lot of these people haven't properly talked to each other before. That can easily be like this is just a chemistry thing, which can easily be fixed through just scrimming a lot or just taking time to learn and talk to each other.
Another thing I will add is I think this team has very good role players. Like they have very like set positions, set like roles that they're good at playing, and if they can come together and play well with each other, then it'll be a very scary team.
All right, well then our last team in the Alpine division, we have Serpents.
Okay. I think Serpents. I think their core is very good. They have Sparky, who is a very good fragger. Skyoreos, who I know is a good IGL and has like led teams to a lot of victories and map wins against teams that no one expected them to win against. I think Golden, Coma Sky and Golden, they have all been on Serpents, I think, for the last 3 seasons, I want to say. Some for more. And we've always seen them put up solid performances. I know last season they didn't do amazing, but I think with their new picks, Joska and Gort, I think both of them are very good. Both of them can play very well. They have decent. They have good game sense. I think this is just better than last season. And last season while they didn't do amazing, I think this season they can do a lot better and get playoffs.
I hope so. I don't really have too much to add, given that it's my own team, but our team sort of depends on having that like strong performances from Josh and Gort to be able to, or Joska, I should say, given that their name is not Josh. And Gort to be able to put up some strong, I would say rookie, but Josh is not a rookie. But if Gort can put up some good rookie performances, Josh can put in some fragging performances. Obviously with Sparky, who I think a lot of people expected to go A-League this season, it can be a pretty strong team. I think it can make a playoffs run. I'm not sure about how we'll go in playoffs if we do make it, but
Yeah, the Alpine division for me is looking just like so even across the board. It's going to be, I think it's going to be like a dead race the entire season to see who comes out on top of the Alpine for the B League.
it'll be a fun one to watch. Stressful one to play, but
My heart rate will be reaching the 200s this season. So now we can move on to the Arid division, where we start with Fistfight.
I will not lie, I do not know much about this team. I played some combines with Mogus and they have very good sword. They're pretty aware. Their comps are pretty good as well. I believe King Luke has been switching between A and B for the past few seasons. And they've been putting up some decent performances. I don't think we've seen anything insane from them, but from playing with them in CBB, they definitely have potential to be a good player. And Landon is a very interesting one to come from A League in seasons from the first 3 seasons. Didn't play last season and now in B for this season. I'm not sure how much they've played in between that period, but if we can see them like work back to get back like catch up on all the stuff that's happened, all the development that's happened to BattleBox. They have very strong melee. I can see them becoming a very decent player. So
Yeah, I think there's not a lot more to add. Just thinking about their playoff position, I think overall, I think this team might struggle to get playoffs just purely because I think I know how well they'll be able to mesh together. I know because I don't think they have a lot of IBL experience. Well, at least recently. Dude, I think is the only player that has played last season, and I just think that that will just like be a very big deficit for them. Well, I know Dude's a very good IGL and very good analyst. I'm not sure how much that will be able to help them. I think they can get playoffs, but I think if they do, it'll be an uphill battle.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that the results of this team really hinge on Dude a lot more than maybe would first meet the eye, just because of how many players are not really like known for game sense on this team, or battle box experience. So I think if Dude can get the pieces to all line up and the players can perform uh to their best, they can do it. But I would agree that I think this is a team that's probably gonna struggle for playoffs. And then that brings us over to Eternal Rising.
Eternal Rising is it's an interesting one. They have um they have a lot of new players this season. I think they have a fully new team. They have no repeating players from last season, as far as I know. They have 5 rookies and 3 recurring players. The recurring players being Freeze, Kiana, and John. I know Kiana played A League last season for the Arcane. Didn't get an opportunity to like properly show what he's made of. So I'm excited to see him in B League again. John, I know, played very well last season. Was a very good fragger for Eclipse. And Freeze, while retiring mid-season, I know he's a really good analyst. He loves to VOD review, and he knows, and he can make some very good strats.
yeah, one thing I will say, I think this team had a very good draft. I think Sandals is a very underrated pickup. I believe Lefui might be healing for this team, and he's good at analyzing in CBB as well. I've seen them come up with some pretty good strats. So I can see this team putting in a lot of hours into VOD reviewing. I know Burb is good, and I believe Keanu got a 1v4 in the A League last season. So, unless I'm mistaken on that.
I don't know enough to correct you, so but yeah, that will do it with us for Eternal Rising. I guess then we can move on to Eclipse.
This team is very, very strong, just like raw mechanics wise. I'll be interested to see who will take like the main leading role on this team. Because we have a very strong like fragging roster in Tyler, Carter, Invex, and Big Mini Pants. We have Trick who's always good on webs and like orbs and things like that. And then I believe HV Buddy is a healer. I could be wrong. But I think their main IGL may end up being HV, given the BattleBox experience. But I know Invex also leads a lot of teams in tournaments, so I can see them picking it up once they learn a bit more about BattleBox. They did well to get a very cheap B League to compensate for Pool and Tor both going for over 1,000 in A. They got Big Mini Pants for 80, which I think is a crazy steal. I believe they had one of the top KDRs in the 2 seasons that they did play in B League, being season 1 and 2. They're part of the only team to ever go undefeated in B League, being Hang plus 10 in season 1. So I'll be interested to see what fragging power they can bring.
Yeah, not much to add on to that. I think one thing this team will struggle with is just chemistry. I don't think any of these guys are like annoying or like don't vibe with each other. They just don't know each other yet. So I think we might see a slow pickup to the start of the season, or maybe not, depending on how much they scrim. I think they definitely are locked for playoffs, just purely because of their mechanical skill. Yeah, apart from that, I got nothing else to add.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I think that this team is going to be very good when things are going well. I do worry about their kind of. I don't really see a very out and out IGL on this team. Maybe Trickinator or Only Life picks that up. Um, but that would be my only real worry about this team. I think other than that, they're very strong.
To add on to that, I think Trick probably will be the IGL for this season, and if he is, I'm really excited to see him like step into that role. I don't think he took it last season because I think it was Soda,
Yeah,
so
it would have
it'll be
been.
new for him. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So this will probably be new for him. I think anyone on the team it would be their first time IGLing. So whoever it is, I'm really excited to see how they do.
And then that brings us to the Arcane Academy.
So I'm not biased, but I think it's a pretty good team. Nothing crazy here, but I think it's a pretty good team. I think having we have 3 draft picks in B League, being Camp, Face, and Kel. Cal and Kel being just some really strong fraggers. And also Scad, we got because of for I think 100 because of a 2 season, which is definitely a steal. And I think we have 3 good support players, being me, Talsi, and Vase. So I think just our core is very good. It's almost a fully friend team plus Kel, so our chemistry is good. But I don't want to glaze too much, so I'm gonna just hand over to Sky.
Yeah, I mean, you basically summed it up. Kel Awesome in B League is mildly crazy. They have event experience, which I think translates pretty decently over to Battle Box. I think they're an MCC tester still, unless I'm wrong on that
Yeah,
one.
they are.
So they have some experience-ish in competitive settings in terms of Battle Box. I mean, Cat's playstyle is rage bait, bro. Like, he will get the craziest hits I've ever seen, and they're very good at doing it. Like, they're very consistent. They know how to play, they know how they play, they know their strengths. They're a very strong player when they play to those strengths. I will say Tausi, I'm interested to see him get more playtime on this team than he did last season. He's a very high potential healer because I know he has insane bow aim.
Well, that about wraps it up for the Arid division, and we can move on over to the Coastal division, where we start with the Sirens.
I do think this team is an upgrade from last season. They've pulled Luna down into the B League, which I think could be a crazy fragger if they can play around them properly. I think this team will play more for fun, but I can see them getting a few more wins than last season, definitely. I think Cress actually showed some decent potential last season. They had some good games on Villa, I know that. Hasby is always one of those players who you never know when he's gonna pop off, but he's insane when he does. And then I believe Cast Dragons was a post-market pickup, and they're also, I believe they played season 2. They were also on the Sirens. They're a strong crossbow player, if I remember correctly. And this season has more crossbow maps, so I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think I fully agree. I think one player to look out for, especially 70 Luna. They were brought down from a league star season on Fem down to B, so a contract was downgraded. And I think that A League last season was pretty weak, so I don't think she got the proper chance to show her true skill. So I'm excited to see how she does this season.
One thing I will note is it is just insane to have a B League team that's effective cost is about the same as the entire cost of glue sticks. 10 less actually. So
They all went for 80. That is crazy.
And then 2 players covered. So this is by far the cheapest B League in the league.
Their price actually underrates them. I think they have a decent shot to do better this season than last. So yeah, I'm excited to watch them pull some better games, and also more funny moments from Golden are always welcomed.
So then that brings us over to Hang plus 10.
Hang plus 10, it's a weird team. They have really good mechanical players that do have IBL experience. I don't think we've seen any of them properly show off their skills. Apart from D95, who I know was really good last season. Before I think did he retire or
Yes, halfway through
Yep.
the season.
yeah, so he ended up retiring. So he didn't get to fully show his potential. I know he was top fragging up until then, so I know I'm looking to see him do good this season. I think I think Sage being brought on as a rookie, I don't know a lot about him, but I know he's very good. I played a few events with him. He always does well, especially in PvP. But apart from that, I can't really comment on the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think this team can do insanely well depending on how Sage and Sean adapt. I know I've seen them scrimming, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just become an insane team. Yeetus has shown some decent potential. They haven't gotten the most playtime being on very crazy rosters in the past, but they have very good mechanics. And I believe they're not a mute anymore, so they can put more in for the team. D95 last season had a 1.91 KDR before retiring, which is insane. And they had a 31% carry percent on night vision, which is also just crazy because that team is very well-rounded and very strong from last season. So I'm excited to see D95 put in some insane games on this team.
So then we'll move right along to Thunder.
This team, it has potential. I'm not going to say, I don't think it's going to start well for them, but I think once they get into their groove, they can be a much stronger team. Snowy has been, we've got the Snowy Froggy duo returning, which has been a pretty strong duo in the B League over the last, I think it's since season 2. I'm not too sure about Wheezy Moss and MJ. I know MJ did well in some combines, and I believe Wheezy Moss is also good, but I'm not fully aware. I know Synchronics can be a crazy B-League. B-Leaguer, they had a very good end to the season last season, putting up some higher numbers than previously seen, and I think that was their first season to properly develop last season, given that they'd been on Nightmare before that. So I'll be interested to see how Synchronics does as the main fragger on their team now, as opposed to being able to rely on some other people on their team.
Yeah, I agree with you when it came to slow start, but probably be able to pick it up late season. But two players I want to just draw your attention to is Wheezy and MJ. I saw a lot of combines. MJ was genuinely crazy during them. He consistently dropped at least 1 to 2 kills around. I think dropped multiple 7+ kills, and he was just insane during them. Of course, that wasn't an IBL setting, but from what I've seen, he's very good. Just raw mechanics. And then Wheezy, I don't know much, but from what I've heard, he's very, very good. I don't know what exactly he does, but I think he tests or plays events, and I know he always plays well from what I've heard when he does. So he should hopefully be able to translate that experience into IBL.
Yeah, the only worry I really have with this Riptide team is like star power. I think that they don't have they have rookies who I think can step into it, and maybe Synchronics can also step into that role, but I don't think that they have a clear fragger on the team. So it'll be interesting to see who, if anyone, can step into that role.
Agreed.
So then the last team in the Coastal Division, the Donut Droppers.
Donut Droppers, it's a team with a lot of veterans. We have Sue, Izzy, and Nymph all having played 5 or 4 seasons each. So they have a vast knowledge of the IPL. And they have a few newer players in Pig, Bunder, and Pix. Actually, Pix has been playing for 3 seasons, so mainly Bunder and Pig. And both Bunder and Pig are very good when it comes to fragging. They have very high potential to just drop a lot of kills in a map. And actually same with Pix as well. I think the actual core fraggers on this team was very good. I'm not entirely sure about the support though. So I think that's one thing that could be struggle is they could struggle on is if their support can't back them up, they might struggle to do well.
I'm actually going to disagree with you on that one. I'm going to say that I think this team, they don't have the same, especially compared to last season, they don't have the same star power that they had within Bamsey, but I think they just have a much more well-rounded roster that I can see them doing even better. I'm interested to see what Taffel can put up in the B League, because I know they were a very strong A-Leaguer near the end of the season and pretty decent at the start. They developed very well over the season. Similar thing with Bunder. I know Bunder can be a decent fragger. I'm interested to see how they play without Bamsey on their team. I think they can maybe put up some better numbers even. And I think this is just a well-rounded team from my perspective.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that this team is like just insanely well rounded. As you said, uh, it's really hard to look at this team and really figure out like where their weakness is going to be. Like their chem is good. I think they have the ability to put up numbers. I think that their game knowledge is good. So excited to see what they put up for this season. So that'll do it for the Coastal Division, and we will get right over to the Volcanic Division. And we will start with Goth Money.
Okay, I actually think this team is going to be incredibly underrated this season. They have a very similar core to last season, but they've just replaced some of the players with a much more scary group of players. They have Kip in there, they have Pluto and Glue, who've all shown that they can do well in B League. Pluto doing pretty well last season, given the team they were on, and given that it was their rookie season. And Kip is just a crazy B League fragger. I know they've done really well in the past. They're very strong on those top frag kits, and having scrimmed against them, their potions are crazy. Glue, I know, is quite an intelligent player. He knows how to play Battle Box. And I'm very interested to see how Yuko develops this season, because I know they're a very strong crossbow player, and we're seeing a few more crossbow maps this season, so it will be interested to see.
There's not much I can add. I think their chemistry is just very good. Very good, and that's one of their biggest strengths is that they'll be able to play off each other very well. And I think we're going to see a lot better performances because of that from each individual player. But I think overall, this team could end up doing really well.
So with that, we can move on to the Shinji Kato.
So Shinji Kato has changed. I want to say a decent amount. With it was Quinta and Slane retiring. I'm pretty sure that it was those two.
Slane was A-League,
So
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
oh, you're right. Yeah, Quinta.
They
Yeah, so
don't
it was
have
Quinta
Shoto or
retiring.
Quinta from last season.
Yeah. So Quinta retiring, and same with Shota not being there and his presence being lacked is I think it's a big deal for them because I know both of them were very big fraggers for that team. But however, they have replaced them with some honestly some very good players. John Deist, I know did very good in season 2 or 3. Yeah, just putting on very good numbers. I know he was very good on his invis. I also think that he could do very well in B League because I'm pretty sure played both. He played A League back in season 3.
Yeah. There's a few things I will add. I think Autos is a very good healer in B League. They know what they're doing, and they're very smart with that. Durple, I think, is very underrated. I think he's one of the top B Leaguers. He was the All Stars MVP, and he just is very good at playing those top fragging roles. I'm also really interested to see if we can get more playtime from Dolphiny and MC Hunt this season, because they both put up very good numbers for the amount of playtime that they got last season. I believe MC Hunt had a KD of over 2. Yeah, they had a 2.26 KD last season. And I know they're a very strong range player. And given this team has some strong melee forces in Hands and Dino, I'll be interested to see how they go.
So with that, we will move on to Shot Glass.
I don't really have too much to note on this team because I don't know too much about most of them. But they're retaining a very strong core from last season in Tan, Packers, and Dorgan. Chibis is known to be a very good IGL for B League, and she makes very good decisions. I'm interested to see how their rookies go. I haven't heard of most of them, but that doesn't mean they're not good, as IBL has shown me in the past. So I'm interested to see what numbers Auxilian, Lav, and Asta class can put up.
I think one thing you want to mention is that Chibi's as a healer, she's very good as a healer. So not only as a Nigel, I think she's going to bring a lot to the team this season. And I think she will like help round out the rookies and like make them reach their full potential this season.
Yeah, I think if there's a person
and
in the B League to help rookies reach their potential, it might honestly be Chibis. Very
Yeah.
in-depth battle box knowledge.
And talking about their rookies, I don't know much about Astor Orcs, but I do know Lav. I think Lav was very much a sleeper this season. I don't think they're going to be playing a big fragging role, but I think they're going to be an excellent player, just as in support, dealing damage and playing util.
So that brings us to the final team, both of the Volcanic Division and just the final team period. Infrared.
Oh boy, this is a team. This
I
is a
mean,
team. Where do I start? Okay, so let's start off with Dippy and Rented. Both, in my opinion, A-League level players, could honestly be mid to top A-League level players. Uh, I think they're very good players. I don't know how they managed to stay in B. Well, Dippy was in 2 season. But getting rented for I think was only 80. No, 350. Sorry.
350.
Uh, even then, that's a seriously low price for someone as good as him. I think also they also picked up Bep and Forby, who I know have very good chemistry together, and Bep especially. I think it was in a weaker team last season. Didn't get to show his like how well he did, but then we got to see during the All Stars, he was a very good player then.
Yeah, I basically agree with everything you say. I think they have some crazy top B League potential in Bep, Rented, and Dippy. Forby's a very good B Leaguer as well. And I'm very interested to see Event on this team. I think Event is one of the sleepers in B League. They're a very good support player. I think, yeah, they're just really good at using their util well. They make smart decisions. I don't know much about Yogurt and Steezy, but I believe they're both decent enough that this team is just insane.
All right. So now that we have gone through all of the teams, I'm interested if we can pick a top team in each division. Alpine Division, we'll start with you, Grudge.
I think in Alpine Division, I think honestly it depends. I think Serpents they're going to have a strong start and I think a strong finish. As long as they can win their games in the middle of the season. But also, I'm not entirely sure. It's a very close division. So I also want to mention Mousetrap. If they can like get to work together very well, I think they can also get top seed.
For me in Alpine, I have to go with Impulse. I just think they're going to pull away with some of these crazy fragging potential. And I think they're going to shine in this division, although I think it's going to be a very close race, as we've said. Yeah, I think this division is going to be really close, but I do have Impulse as my top team from this division.
All right. And then moving right along the Air Division, Sky, who do you have?
I have Arcane Academy. I just think they have a very good rookie roster. I know they've been scrimming a decent bit. They've just got a crazy well-rounded roster. They've got Cat and Kel to bring out fragging power with Skullad. They've got Vase, Tausi, and Grudge, who are all decent support players. I think, depending on how much playtime Tausi gets, I think if we see Tausi play a lot more on heals, then this team can have a very strong playoffs run.
Excellent choice. But I honestly think I want to give it to Eclipse. I think overall they're way better mechanically than our team, and I think just as long as they get their IGL down and the IGL gets to work with strats and everything, I think this team can be honestly just disgusting, better than Infrared if they manage to all play to their best.
All right. Well, then that will bring us to the Coastal Division. Grudge, who do you have in the Coastal?
It's gonna have to be Hank plus 10 for sure. I think this team, I think just the entire season will be strong for them. Might have a few losses here and there, but they just have so much fragging potential, and I don't see them doing bad at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I also put Hang plus 10, but I will say I think it could be a very close one between Donut Droppers and Hang plus 10. But I think Hang plus 10, they know how to play with each other. Guide, low-key, sleeper pick, you know? He knows how to make a team fun, he knows how to bring everyone together. And I think they just have enough fragging potential that they can just run it down and they'll win.
All right, and then finally the volcanic division. Sky, who do you have?
I think for me, this is one of the most obvious ones. I have infrared. As long as they don't have some underperformances, I think this team should just dominate the division. Although the rest of the division is strong, having three people who should arguably be in A-League and have shown that by performing incredibly well in B-League is just a very strong roster all around.
Yeah, well, I'd love to make it interesting, go for another team. I have to agree. I just think Infrared's going to blow it out of the water. I think they're just going to do incredible. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost like one game max, maybe even went flawless.
But I will give a shout out to Goth Money. You know,
Yeah,
Yuka's gonna put up 20 kill games this season.
I believe it.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
calling it.
All right, and then with that, we can get right into the week 1, which starts tomorrow as of talking about so the recording of this episode. So our first game that we're going to look at, Serpens versus Goth Money. Sky, who do you have in this one?
Well, you know, this is a hard one for me. I don't want to seem too biased. I think I think Serpents can pull it away. I think we should hopefully have a strategical advantage over them. But I know they have some really good fragging power and they have some experience now building up from last season playing together. And in glue sticks, that's a lot more strategical power as well. So I can see it being a close one, but I will hopefully go with Serpents to win that game.
Yeah. I agree. I think someone's going to win that game just purely based off experience and the ability just to play off each other very well.
All right, and then the next game on our schedule, Sugar Rush versus Fist Fight.
I think it's going to have to be Sugar Rush. I think they have the experience. Which when compared to Fist Fight, I think that's going to be a big advantage for them. But I honestly see it going either way.
I will also say Sugar Rush for this game because I think Fist Fight, while they are very much a good team who can play very well together, I think they're going to lack some of that experience, as Grudge said. I think they can have a very strong end to the season, but I don't see them starting off particularly strong. And whereas I think Party Animals has almost the opposite problem, or opposite like nature, in that I think they'll have a very strong start with their fragging, and then they just need to be able to carry it through the rest of the season.
All right, well then next we have Impulse versus Eternal Rising.
I personally would favor Impulse in this game, although I can see arguments for both. I think Eternal Rising is again a team that will get much better as the season goes on, as they can develop some of their rookie power and Faris can have more VODs to review. I think Morph and Intro will be able to pull this one through for them with their strong fragging power, which I think overpowers what Eternal Rising has.
I I agree with you. But honestly, I think there might be an upset depending on how much Internal Rising is scrimming. I don't know how much they have been, but if they have been doing a lot of it, I think they can pull an upset for sure.
And then next on our schedule, we have Mousetrap versus Shot Glass.
I think this is gonna be a close game, like a really close game. I think both rosters are similar in a way. I think Chocolates have more experience, but Mousetrap have more fragging power. I just think it's just gonna come down to I think maps, honestly. I think if there's more mechanical maps, I think Mousetrap can beat Shot Glass. If it's more analytical maps like Watermill, I think Shot Glass can take the win.
I think this matchup will be very close. I can see Packers coming away with some crazy kill counts. And I know Dorgan is very good as well. I'll be interested to see how this game goes. I'm not too sure. I'm not confident enough to like pick one that I think will win. But I'll be interested to watch this game and see how it goes.
I can always pick for you, and I'll say Mousetrap.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
a
works.
biased opinion?
Yeah, what?
No, that's not biased. I don't think that's biased.
There's no bias in the IBL.
Yeah.
There's never been bias in the IBL.
Pony Rocket League would never.
I would never.
I trust Pony Rocket League with my kids.
Real
Oh.
trust. All right.
Yep.
And then the next game on our schedule, we have Eclipse versus the Arcane Academy.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'm gonna favor Arcane Academy to win this game. I think they've been scrimming a decent bit. I think their rookie power is more developed than that of Eclipse, and I just think they'll mesh better together as a team for the start of the season. So I'll favor Arcane Academy on this one.
I honestly think this could be one of the closest games of this season. Both teams, I think, especially at the start, both teams have very high rank potential, in my opinion. I think we have a bit less, but we make up for that with our supports. I think it'll just be a genuinely close game. But again, no bias, of course, but I think Arcane Academy will come out on top.
I'm so glad that the IBL is rid of all bias.
Yes.
For sure.
We do lots of work to make sure there's no bias. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the next game in our schedule, Fist Fight versus Hang plus 10.
See, I know I've been glazing Hank a lot, but I honestly think start of the season, this fight could win this. Mainly because I think Dude's ability to analyze quickly and just learn how the other team is playing could come in real clutch here. I don't think Hank 10 has been scrimming, as far as I know, a lot. So they might not have like developed strats yet. So I think maybe Fistfight could take it out, but if I had to predict it, it would probably be Hank 10.
Yeah, I essentially agree with everything you said. I think Fistfight has a lot of potential to pull through on this one with dudes analyzing. But I do think that Hang Plus 10 will just start off stronger in the season. So
All right. And then next we have Eternal Rising versus Thunder.
I believe I will favor Eternal Rising in this matchup. I think they have a stronger fragging power to start off the season because I think that of Thunder needs more time to develop, given that I think two of their stronger players are rookies. But I could be proven wrong very easily. I think we can see Sandals and Burb put up some very good numbers in that game.
I mean, I'll have to agree with that. There's nothing more I think Ash can add. I think Eternal Rising will just have the advantage, I think, because it's early season, and Riptide wouldn't. No, sorry, not Riptide. Thunder wouldn't have the ability to have fully developed yet.
All right. Then we have Hang plus 10 versus Serpents.
This is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be just a battle of experience versus mechanics, in my opinion. I think Serpents can play smart. I think they can come out on top, but there's a chance they might just get fully overwhelmed by Hank plus 10's mechanics and just pure skill they have.
This matchup does remind me of the start of last season with Arcane versus Serpents. Obviously, it's Serpents versus a team that people think have a lot of potential to pull through. I think this game is going to come down to map selection. And I think Hang plus 10 will have a greater variety of maps that they're more comfortable with. So I'm going to go with Hang plus 10 for this one.
All right. Then next we have Thunder versus Mousetrap.
I think for me, the easy favorites on this one is Mousetrap. I think Infinity just brings a lot to the table on that team and has very good support and also other fraggers to help pull through. I think Thunder, whilst I can see them making a good run in the season, I think they're going to need more time to develop and get there.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Mousetrap just immediately on will just have a lot of experience that they can pull from because of Infinity. I think she's very good at what she does. On the other hand, I don't see Thunder. Like they didn't have a vast knowledge base to pull out from, as far as I know. So yeah, I think it'll go to Mousetrap.
All right. The next we have the Donut Droppers versus the Sirens.
I think this will yeah, it's definitely in favor of Donut Droppers if you ask me. I think overall they're a better like more well-rounded team than Sirens. But I think they could be an upset depending on how much Sirens have been scrimming. They've been scrimming, and I think there's a chance that they could uh come out on top. But just based off what we know so far, I think Donut Droppers will win.
I'm gonna agree. I think if Luna can put up some really impressive numbers, and I believe it's her B-League debut, then I can see this going to Sirens. But otherwise, I'm gonna favor. I forgot who the other team was. Am I cooked?
Donut Droppers.
Yeah, I'm gonna favor Donut Droppers because I think they're a more well-rounded roster. They don't rely on a crazy performance from their top frags.
So then that brings us to Shot Glass versus Sugar Rush.
I think for this matchup, I'm gonna favor Shot Glass. I think if they can follow Chibi's lead and pull out that strategical difference with their fragging power of Packers, Dogan, 10, and I believe Lav is also a pretty decent fragger. I see them pulling away the victory here.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I think there's just one man stopping Shot Glass from winning, and that's Saru. His strats, I don't think anything that Chibis will be able to predict will show up. I just think the unpredictability of Sugar Rush could definitely just overcome the pure firepower that Shot Glass have.
That's fair.
All right, and then we have a pretty exciting matchup. We have Infrared versus the Shinji Kato.
I think this is also going to be a very close game. But I do see Infrared just winning for this definitely. I think probably go to map 3 depending on map picks. But I think it's definitely just going to be Infrared winning this game. They're just a crazy team. I don't see them losing a lot this season. I don't need a lot more I can add though. So yeah,
You know, I'm gonna be different, and I think Infrared will be overwhelmed in the early season, and I think they'll lose this game.
That's crazy.
You know, no one would predict it. You know, the upset's gonna be crazy.
What is it? Like fortune
Wait, really?
favors the bold, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a
Fortune
you
favors
say.
me.
Yeah, you're the bold.
That's what they say about me.
I've been saying that personally. I don't know if you know, but every time I type your name into my computer, Control B.
It autocorrects
Oh,
to
right, yeah.
in bold. Yeah.
And that brings us to the last game on our B League schedule. We have Goth Money versus Impulse.
This is definitely an interesting one. I'm gonna say Goth Money. Depending on the map selection, I think Goth Money can have they have a stronger or a more like well-rounded supporting cast. And I think Kip will be able to put up similar numbers to the fraggers on the other team. So I think depending on what maps they manage to pick, I think I can see Goth Money coming away with the win here.
I would love to agree with you, but I just think
I think I'm
that
just lazy.
not even that. I think Gothland is a good team, but I just think that Impulse is just their pure firepower, especially early in the season. It's just going to be too much for Gothland to handle. So I'm going to have
Probably.
to say
But Goth
Impulse
Money on my
on
day
top.
ones.
We would never have bias in the IBL.
If I
Well,
try to type bias in IBL, it autocorrects to nothing.
that's so true.
That's true. No, it's like it's a blocked message. You can't send it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that way no one can call us out for bias.
Because there is none, right? Of course.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of our show. Grudge, skyoreos, do you have any final comments? Anything you want to talk about for the season in general for the B League?
I'm very excited to see how B League turns out. I think it's going to be a very close fight for the top position. While I do think there are some very clear favorites, I do see a lot of upsets happening this season.
I think this season will be very fun to watch and very stressful to play. So, like IBL usually is, for me at least. I'm excited to get some quality games. I think we can see some 21 rounders. And good luck to everyone involved.
Well, that does it here for us on the IBL podcast. I've been PonyRL, joined by Grudge and skyoreos, and we will see you next week. Next week, maybe. Guess we'll find out.
We shall find out.